Hello teachers, and welcome to the Braille Academy. And in this lesson, we are going to look at English and Mathematics Braille revision. Okay, remember we are looking at knec revision questions, and this is just a reflection of what you are going to get or to meet in April exam. Okay, in English and Mathematics Braille. Now, the paper code of Braille is always 9110/2 or 3. And this is what you're going to meet when it comes to Braille exam or English and Mathematics Braille. Now, as usual, I told you that this paper contains two sections, whereby we have section A, that is called theory, and it carries 30 marks. And then section B, it takes 70 marks, and it is called practicals. Okay, so these questions, I told you in the previous lesson that from this week, we are going to look at somehow technical questions, and these questions, they are questions set in the format of knec. Okay, so kindly teachers, make sure that you watch this lesson from the beginning up to the end, because we are now starting going from simple to complex, whereby we are looking at the knec paper questions. So teachers, kindly watch the lesson from the beginning up to the end. Now let us start looking at this paper or looking at these questions. Okay, so as I told you that Braille paper contains two sections, whereby you have section A and section B. Section A is always called theory, and it carries 30 marks. And then we have another section which is called section B, and it contains 70 marks. Okay, and it's called practical. So 30 plus 70, you get 100%. As I told you, this week we are going to look at somehow complex questions. They are simple. We are going to understand. So make sure you watch this lesson from the beginning up to the end. Now let us get started. Now the first question reads like this. I'm going to be very slowly and explain step by step so that you understand. State, Roman 1, state the rule applied when letters O, N, E are followed by the letters D, N, or R. Okay? So here, in other words, they are asking us the rule applied when 1 is used as a group signs, and whereby the letter that follows after this E, unaona hii nyiko hapa, the letter that follows here, it's either D, N, or R. What is the rule that is applied when these three letters follow here when you are using 1 as a group sign? Listen teachers. Remember we looked at 1 under the initial word signs with .5, and we said 1 is denoted as .50. Okay? .50, this is 1. It's a contraction of the word one. So 1 is written as .50. That is 1. We looked it under module IE 028 when we were looking at the initial word signs with .5. Now, those initial word signs with .5, we looked all of them from A up to Z. So we said that 1 is contracted as .50. That one is a contraction of the word 1 under module 28. Okay? And we said these are called initial word signs with the .5. And we said when you use them as group signs, there are rules that you're supposed to follow. And we looked at those rules. And therefore, that is what now we are being asked. That when using 1 as a group signs, what are the rules that you're supposed to follow when this 1 is followed by D, N, or R? Now let me write somewhere, and then we write together, and then we will be able to understand. Okay, teachers, now let us write here together, please, and see what is this statement saying, and then we state that rules together. Okay, so first of all, let us now represent the word one 3 times, and then we use these letters. Remember, we were asked the rule, or to state the rule applied when letters 1 are followed. To be followed ni kufuatwa. Sasa, let us do this. Let us write this one 3 times, and then in each one we add letter D, the other one we add N, and the other one we add R. This is what we are saying. 1, 1, 1. The first one, let us add D followed by D because the word was followed. Then the second one, which is this one, let us add N, then R. So this is 1 followed by D, N, or R. What are we supposed to do, or what are the rules that we are supposed to follow before we contract this group sign or these word signs as group signs? Listen to me, teachers. The rule is very clear. Remember I said, when you want to contract one, it is .50, isn't it? We looked at it under the initial word signs with .5, and we said this is 1 contracted under initial word signs with .5. But we said 1 cannot be contracted when followed by letter D, N, or R. What happens? We have 1 here, but we are not going to contract it like this. Okay? We were told if 1 is followed by either D, N, or R, D, N, or R, you don't contract 1, you contract ED if followed by D, you contract EN if followed by N, and when 1 is followed by R, you contract ER. So the rule applied here is that do not contract 1, contract ED, EN, and ER. That is the rule. That is the rule. Do not contract 1 as .50. Instead, if followed by D, contract ED. If 1 followed by N, contract EN. If 1 is followed by R, contract ER. That is the rule. Now let me come up with some few examples which contains 1 and it also contains these letters following the word 1, and then see what exactly we are supposed to do. Now, teachers, kindly listen and observe the following examples. We want to come up with some examples whereby we have 1 and this word 1 is followed by D, N, or R. Now, let us consider these 3 examples. The first example is the word prisoner. Okay? Prisoner. Then the next example is the word poisoned. Poisoned. Okay? The last example is the word, remember we are looking at poisoned, D, N, or R. Okay? So here, you see now, the word 1 is here, isn't it? 1 iko hapa. But you cannot write .50 to represent or to contract this 1. What happens? You contract ER. Okay? You contract ER. The same to the word poisoned. We have 1 here. So because we have this 1, we are not going to contract it as .50. What happens? You contract ED. So the last example is the word like opponent. Opponent. Okay? Remember we are looking at D, N, or R. D, N, R. So we have another 1 here. But it's followed. This one. Followed by. So 1 is followed by N. So if it's followed by N, do not contract 1. Instead, contract EN when followed by N. Again, when followed by D, like in this case, poisoned, O-N-E, followed by D, do not contract 1 as .50, contract ED. So the same to R, when 1 is followed by R, that is O-N-E followed by R, do not contract 1 as .50, but instead contract ER. So the rule is very clear. When 1 is followed by D, N, or R, do not contract 1. Instead, contract ED, EN, and ER. That is the group sign to contract. So remember, it is the rule. Teachers, make sure that you read again and again the rules of Braille because they are mostly asked when it comes to knec exams. Okay, so make sure that you read and you understand. Good. Now let us come to the Roman 2. Roman 2 ask the question reads like this. Remember, we are looking at state the situation where the short form for blind. Listen, teachers, kindly listen very carefully. We are told to state the situation where the short form for blind, the word blind. Now, this one does not refer to a person, but it's a word blind. So they are asking us to state the situation whereby the short form for blind may not be used. In other words, we said when we were looking at short forms, we said blind is represented as BL in Braille. So the word blind can be represented by its short form, whereby it is BL. BL is a short form of the word blind. But they are asking to state the situation or places whereby we cannot use short form of the word blind, or we cannot represent blind by its short form. Ni wapi ambapo hatuwezi tumia short form ya word blind? So let me show you something from the book, and then you'll be able to understand. Then after showing you, I will explain, and then you are going to understand. Now let us look at that book. Okay, now teachers, listen. Remember, the question was clear. We were asked, let us read the question again. We were asked to state the situation where the short form for blind may not be used. That is what we were asked. Now let us answer that question. Let us read here. These are the three words. After, blind, and friend. So these three words, they have a common rule. Whereby, but in our question, we are stressing in the word blind. But there are three of them, and they have a common rule. Now, because we are looking at blind, let us now look at it. Okay? When the short form for blind is part of a longer word and is followed by a vowel or Y, do not add the longer word to the short form list. Do not add a longer word to the short form list. Now listen. In other words, they are saying when blind is used as a group sign, whereby blind can be expressed by BL to show its short form, do not contract blind or do not use its short forms. What happens? You contract in. If blind is used as a group sign and it's followed by a vowel, A, E, I, O, U. So if the word blind is followed hapa mbele, blind alafu inafuatwa na either these vowels or letter Y, do not express it as its short form, but in this case, write it in full and contract in only. Now let us come to this example here. The word is blinded. You can see now here, they wrote this is B, L, in contracted, then D, and then ED contracted. So what I'm saying is, it's sometimes you might get some short forms whereby they can be contracted when it's in a longer word. Okay? Ikiwa kwa neno, unaweza contract. But now, the word blind, when followed by A, E, O, U, or A, E, I, O, and U, do not contract. Do what? Contract in, but do not contract the short form of itself. Okay? So let us come to the word blinding. Now, the word blinding, wameandika B, L, in contracted, then D, and then ING contracted. Remember, this is the ing we looked under the module IE 028. Module IE 028. So this ing tuliangalia kwa st, ar, ing and bo. Okay? And bo. Sasa hii ing tulisema ni .3, .4 and .6. So the word blinding, you see now we have the word blind, but we cannot use BL to show the short form of this word. What happens? You write B, you write L, then you contract in, you spell out D, you contract ing. You contract ing, and it's here. It's here. So the rule is very clear. When blind is followed by a, e, or u, or vowel, or letter Y, do not contract blind. Do not contract blind. Now, teachers, unfortunately, this information you cannot get it from the module. Hawezi pata kwa module. This book is called The Rule of Unified English Braille. The Rules of Unified English Braille. Okay? That is where you can get this information. Okay? This is where you can get this information. So, teachers, kindly make sure that you read and you read and you read so that you understand these things. Now you can see now a question is coming from knec, okay, set for you to do, and it does not exist in the modules that you are using. Okay, I've never met such an explanation from the module, but it's here. So that means you need to do a lot of research and you need to read hard. Okay, so we have seen that when blind is followed by vowel or Y, do not contract it. Instead, contract the group sign in the word blind. Now let us go to the next question. Now let us read the next question. 2 word signs. Remember, we are still in number 1. We are told to state 2 word signs with .5 which must retain their meaning when used as group sign. 2 word signs with .5 which must retain their meanings when used as group sign. Now, teachers, if you want to know these things, make sure that you read the initial word signs with .5, okay, and their rules. That is the beginning stage of, or the first part of module IE 028, or the advanced English Braille. If you go there, you are going to get all these things. So here, these 2 signs with .5, ni work and young. So these 2 group signs, or these 2 word signs, they are used as group sign when they retain their meaning. When they retain their meaning. So if you want to know much about this, go and read module IE 028 and read those rules and all those word signs and how they are supposed to be used when it comes to group signs and the rule that is supposed to be used. Like, for example, in the word one, we said one cannot be used as a group sign or cannot be contracted when followed by letter D, N or R. And we saw that when followed by letter D, you contract ED. When followed by letter N, you contract EN. When followed by letter R, you contract ER. That is what we call the rules. Okay? What you need to do. Okay? Good. Now let us come to number 2, because number 1 is over and I think it's clear. Let us come to number 2. Number 2, we are told, identify group signs represented by the following dot. Now here, we are given the dots and then we are told to do what? To identify which group signs are formed by these dots. Hizi dots zinatengeneza group sign gani? So we are going to write these dots using Braille cell, like this .45th, .45th, okay? Then after writing it, this is how TH is written. After writing it, therefore, we identify which group sign is this. Do not write like this and then leave it there. No. You write like this and then you name that one. For example, in this case, this one is those, okay? This one is those, isn't it? So let me write somewhere in a book and then we write all of them together and then you'll be able to understand. Remember, do not make a mistake. And I told you, teachers, make sure you read the question and understand, because you might write the correct answer but in a wrong way and you might get it wrong. For example, wamesema identify group signs represented by the following dot. Wewe uandike tu venye wameandika hapa .45th, uandike .45th na uache hivyo. This is not the answer. They want you to say what is this sign now, because they have given you the dots. Okay, so this is what you're supposed now to say. It is a group sign, those. Now let me write somewhere in a book, and then we write together, and then you will be able to understand. Okay, now teachers, I have written all of them here. They are here. Okay, ya kwanza ilikuwa ni .45th, ndio hii .45th. Ya pili ni .45 there, ndio hii .45 there. And then .460, ndio hii .460. Then ya mwisho ni .6n, ndio hii nimeandika hapa .6n. Now let us write them and then see what are the group signs formed by these dots now. Good. That is what the question was asking ideally. That is what the question was asking. Now let us write these dots. So .45 unakuja unaandika .45. TH nilikwambia ni D plus .6. D plus .6. Okay? Then .45 there. .45 there. I told you there is S plus .6. We looked it under the special word signs. And 4 of the with. Hiyo tuliangalia kwa module IE 021. Then .460 unaandika .4.6 and then T. Okay, like that, isn't it? And then lastly .6n. This is .6 and then n, I told you it's D plus .3. Now this what we have written here is just what is written here, but now here we have expressed in there dots now. .4, .4, .5, .5. TH ndio hii. So this and this are the same thing. But now the question was asking us to identify ama tuseme hizi ni dot. Now what group signs are these now? Okay? Hizi ni group sign gani? That was the question. Let us read again. We were asked identify group signs represented by the following dots. Now these dots. So here listen carefully. Unaangalia hii dot vizuri, alafu unasema in this I told you this one is those. Ini those. Okay? Ukiangalia hii .45 there, I told you ini these. Okay? Remember all these things we looked under the initial word signs with the .45. Okay? Tuliangalia, isn't it? Then .460 nikawambia ni ound. Okay? Ound like that. Sorry, ini T. Okay? Make sure hii kitu inataka ukue very keen, Ound. Nimesema ound, nikakosea nikaandika D. So hii inafaa ikue ound. Okay? Like that. Ound. I think now it's clear. Ound. So .460 ni ound. Okay? Remember this one we looked at under the final group signs. Then .6n I told you ni ashon. Okay? Ashon. Remember ile ashon tulisoma kwa the third group of the final group signs ambayo tulisema ni kama the third group of the final group sign tuliangalia full, iti, ali, ashon. Okay? Ashon. So tukasema ashon ni .6. I don't think if you can see .6n. Okay? .6n and then ally ni .6y and then et ni .56 et y. Okay? Then full ni .56l. So these are the third group of the final group sign. Now hiyo ndio unapata ashon. So ndio hiyo walikuwa wametuambia tuseme group sign ambazo zinatengenezwa na hizi dots. Sasa wewe usifanye makosa. Si unaona wametuambia hizi dots wameshatuambia. Usifanye makosa uandike hivi na uache bila kusema hizi word. No please. make sure, even if you write like this using your Braille machine, ideally remember, these questions will be written in Braille dots. So do not make a mistake like so many teachers do. You come and you write like this and you leave it there, okay? You might not get it. So make sure you write the group sign itself. In this case, this one is this one is this one is aunt, this one is Ashon. And when you do that, you get your free marks. Thank you. Now let us go to the next question, please. Now teachers, I think we are done with the question 2 Roman 1. Question 2 Roman 1 tumemaliza, isn't it? I think tumeelewa. So let us come to Roman 2. Because we are told, identify the words represented by the following short forms written in Braille. Now listen, this is very important. Short forms, the question of short form hautakosa kwa mtihani yako ya knec. That one I'm sure. So what happens? This question of short forms can come in different ways. Listen to me. Inaweza kuja na njia tofauti. Kwa mfano, ukiangalia hapa, wametupea short form and then they are telling us to state or to say the words that are represented by these short forms. You see? Now again, they can give you the short form inside a debrailing question. For example, number 6. Wanaandika a word but in short form, then you are told to debrail that word. So that means you need to read that short form and then you write the full meaning of the short form. So teachers, I told you, when you get a contraction or a short form in a debrailing part, do not write the short form itself or the contraction itself. Write the full meaning of that short form. For example, we have LL. LL is a contraction of the word little. Okay? The word little. Then SCH contracted is the contraction or a short form of the word search. So we said search is S and CH contracted. Like this. S and then CH contracted. I told you CH is really like that. Isn't it? CH. So in the contraction, I'm a short form ya the word search. Usidhani in school. No, this one is not the word school. In short form ya search. Short form. Now XF ni short form ya itself. Remember, when we looked the simple upper word signs, we said X standalone, it represent the word it. So when you add the F, inamaanisha itself. So it and then F inasimamia ni short form ya the word itself. And I told you, short forms questions will never miss in the knec paper. And they can come in different way as I have explained. Now that is it and we are done with that. So for more, make sure that you go and read the lessons of short form, then go through it and then you'll be able to understand. So this question is very common and it's very common and it might help you. Now, let us come to the next question, that is Roman 3 of question 2. We are told to distinguish between a word signs and a group sign. Distinguish a word sign and a group sign. Now teachers, these are the common things that we talk every day, group signs and word signs. Hii ni vitu ambavyo tunasema tunazitaja kila siku, group sign, word sign, okay? So by now teachers, such questions you should not miss the mark of such questions, okay? Now we said a word sign is any sign that is used to represent a complete word, or a word sign is a sign that is used to show a whole word. Sawa, that is a word sign. And then a group sign, in other words we said group signs are signs expressing two or more letters which form part of a longer word. And I remember we looked the word like the word land, whereby we said you can use and as a group sign, whereby you contract it and then you add L. And therefore we said group signs are signs expressing two or more. So when you say two or more, it means maybe 3, 4, 5 more letters, okay, to form part of a longer word. So distinguish between word signs and group sign. A word sign is any sign that is used to represent a whole word. For example, B represent but. C represent can. Remember, this is under simple upper word sign. Okay? We have so many types of word sign. We have so many. Initial word signs with the dot 5. We have the word signs we use from group signs like CH. CH, we said we can get a group sign. For example, we can get a word sign from this group sign. And we said CH standalone is the word child. It is still a word sign because this sign alone has been used to represent a complete word child. That's why we are calling it a word sign is any sign that is used to represent a complete word or a whole word. So in this case, this is CH. It's used to represent a whole word child or a complete word child. And therefore, this is an example of a word sign. Good. Let us come to number 3. That one is okay. Number 3, ama question 3 nasema, name and briefly discuss the function of any 5 parts of a Perkins Braille. Now this one you can do and understand by yourself. Hiyo ni homework wewe fanya soma. That one is very easy. We cannot explain that, okay? It's very simple. Now let us come to number 4. Number 4 inasema aje? The Braille dots that represent the following mathematical, yeah? State the Braille dots that represent the following mathematical notation. Now, teachers, reading and understanding the question is the key as far as Braille is concerned. So, do not just read and write what you think it is asking. It is asked. Make sure you read again and again. You know, when they say state the Braille dots, state the Braille dots, you're not just going to represent those dots, but to state them. And that is where people get it wrong. Now, let me write somewhere, and then we write together, and then you will be able to understand. So, teachers, I have written here. Sorry for that. So, as I said, I've written them here. So, let us read again from the paper, okay? The paper was asking us. The Braille dots that represent the following mathematical notation. Remember, we are told to state. We are told to state. So, state is the question. 24th, not 24. In 24th, EV, 24th, 13%, 13%. So, this is what we are being told, not to write, but to state the Braille dots. Now, let us write first and then we state. Teachers, the first question was 24th. So, as I told you, when writing numbers, you must put a sign called a numeral sign. And this numeral sign, we looked at it under mathematics and we said under English Braille and we called it a bow. But in mathematics, it's called what? A numeral sign. Then numeral sign 24. So unaandika hapa 2 and then unaandika 4. And then immediately after kuandika hivyo, unaandika 20, remember 24th, like this, 24th. Okay? So if TH unaiandika hapa mbele bila kuweka space. Do not intervene space here. Write adjoined together. Write it adjoining to these numbers. So utaandika TH contracted. Now here you can contract them, okay? Ile ya first, second, third, fourth. You see now these things, eh? You can write these things, you contract where possible, okay? 10th, you contract this, yeah? That's what we are saying. 10th, you contract like now, like here, okay? You contract TH. That's what we are doing. But now, when contracting these things, do not make a mistake of intervening a space. So, in this case, hapa tujaweka space, tumeshikanisha na hii number 24th. Sasa itakuwa ni 24th. But now, that was not the question. The question was to state, okay, let us now first write this one. Sorry for that. Let us now write this one. 13%. 13%, just come here and write numeral sign, write 1, write 3, write it like that, and then give a space. Now this one is a percent, you give a space, then you write P like that. But now remember, this sign is used in the KISE module, but not in the Unified English Braille. If you read the Unified English Braille, this sign has changed, yeah? And you're going to get it maybe in near future. You're going to look at that. Now, the question was not asking us to do this or to write like this, but to state the Braille dots. Now, let us read again. Tuliambiwa, state the Braille dots that represent the following mathematical notation. 24th ndio tumeandika, lakini tunafaa to state the dots. Sasa hapa utakuja useme hivi. Unaangalia hizi dot, unasema unaandika ni dot gani ambazo umetumia kuandika nazo. So unaandika dot 2, dot 2, 3. Unaangalia tu dot 2, 3 followed by. Ukienda kwa the next Braille cell unasema followed by dot, unasema hizo dot. Unaangalia tu dot 1, 4, 5, dot 1, 4, 5, then followed by, si bado ndio ijaisha, followed by dot, hata unasema dots, okay? Dot 1, 4, 5, 6, dot 1, 4, 5, 6. So if now this is to state, you have stated. Do not just do like this and the question is asking you to state. So you can as well write like this and then you state these dots. You know, it's very simple for you writing, and then after writing you read from here. You say, oh, dot 3, dot 2, 3, ndio hii, then followed by. It's very important you write followed so that the examiner atajua you are going to the next Braille cell or you are referring to the next Braille cell. Usiandike useme ati dot 4, dot 2, dot, okay, dot 1, 2. This is not dot 2, 3, sorry. This is not dot 2, 3. Please. Sorry for that. Let me get rid of that. This is dot what? This is dot 1, 2. It's here. Okay? Like this. So it is written like this. In dot 1, 2, dot 1, 2, followed by dot 1, 4, 5, followed by dot 1, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's okay. Hapa nilikuwa nimekosea kidogo, sorry for that. Now, this is what I'm saying. Do not make a mistake of writing the dots venye ziko zote pamoja bila kuandika the word followed. Usidhani followed haina maana, teachers. No. The word followed is very important in this case. For example, ukifanya makosa uandike dot 1, dot 1, 2, 4, dot 1, 2, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 6. Continuous like that, you get it wrong, okay? That is very bad. Now let us come to this example, to the next question. I hope this one now is clear. So this is how you're supposed to write, okay? Good. 13%. So 30% you write like this. Now you state the dots now. In this case, you write dot 1, okay? So here, to what we may state the dots of a numeral sign. It's very important. Very important. So numeral sign pia you state the dots, okay? You state the dots. Sasa utasema hapa, okay? You start by saying dot 3, 4, 5, 6 followed by. I hope now you are understanding this thing, eh? So una state the dots of the numeral sign. Usipoandika dots ya numeral sign, utakuwa umeanzia kwa 2. Now itakuwa B. Itakuwa B. Okay? Nilikuwa nimesahau kuandika. Itakuwa B. So make sure that you state all the dots here, including the numeral sign. Nilikuwa nimesahau but nimeiandika dot 3, 4, 5, 6 followed by dot 1, 2, like that. Dot 3, 4, 5, 6. Dot 3, 4, 5, 6 followed by dot 1, 2 followed by dot 1, 4, 5 followed by dot 1, 4, 5, 6, and then you get correct. Okay, let us come here. 13%. So here unasema dots. Now you state the dots of a numeral sign. Dot 3, 4, 5, 6 followed by, and I told you followed by means you are going to the next brace cell. Dot 1, followed by dots 1, 4 followed by dots 2, 5 followed by dots 1, 2. Nasoma hizi dots, dot 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is this one. Okay, wacha tuanze. .3456. .3456 ndio hii. Then followed by .1 ndio hii. Then followed by .14 ndio hii .14. Then followed by .25 ndio hii 25. Then followed by .1 2 3 4 ndio hii .1 2 3 4. This one. Okay, so unaangalia tu hizi dot alafu una state hizo dot ni gani. So that is it. Okay, it's too long, but that is what you're supposed to do according to the question. So read and understand the question, and therefore you will get a mark if you do that. Now let us go to the next question, please. Okay, teachers, so we are done with this part, isn't it? And tumeelewa venye tunafaa tufanye. Okay, sorry. Okay, tumeelewa. So the next the Roman 2 of question 4 inasema signs, to state the signs represented by the following. Now here this one is simple because we are just stating the sign or representing the sign but not the dots itself. Sasa hapa ni rahisi sababu tunaandika tu hiyo sign peke yake. So you read 3 and 1 over 23. So 3 and 1 all over 23, isn't it? 3 by 2, 3 by 2. Then 1045, 1045. So you just write this one in Braille and then you get a mark. That's what they are saying. Now let us write together and then you'll be able to understand. Now I have written them here. So let us read again the question. Ya kwanza nasema nini? 3 and 1 over 23. Ndio hii hapa nimeandika ya kwanza. 3 and 1 over 23. So this is what they are saying. To write 3 and 1 over 23. And we were supposed to write it like this. You know, this question is in words written in Braille dots. And then you're supposed to write them like in mathematical notation. That's what they are asking. So what happens? You come and write 3. So when written 3, unaandika numeral sign. Then unaandika 3. I told you 3 is really like that. Listen, teachers. Tafadhali naomba unisikilize. Because we will remind ourselves how we write the fraction or the mixed fraction. 3 and 1 over 23. Now listen. It's like this. I told you when writing mixed fraction, when it comes to mathematics Braille, you have to use two numeral sign. One for the whole number and the other one for the fraction. Now in this case, it's a proper fraction. Now you write one numeral sign for the whole number. In this case is 3. And then you introduce another numeral sign for this proper fraction. Okay? So whereby it means a mixed fraction that has got a whole number and the numerator and a denominator has got two numeral sign. One for the whole number, the other one for the for the fraction. Now, this is 3. Without giving a space, write another numeral sign now for this fraction. Sasa hapo andika 1, and I told you the denominator ama number ya chini you always lower. So 23 unaandika hivi 2 and then 3. Na hii 3 usiandike mstari ya chini, usilowe kabisa mpaka hapa chini. You write it as middle C. Okay? So itakuwa ni 3 and 1 all over 23. Are we together? So this is what we are told to do. Because we are not told to state the dots, we are just told to do what? Hatukuambiwa to state the dots. Question ilituambia signs, to state the signs represented by the following. To state the sign 3 and 1 over 23. Ndio hii hapa. So this is what you're supposed to do. Now let us come to the next question, that is B. 3 by 2. 3 by 2 ni hivi. 3 by 2 ama 3 divided by 2. This is what they want us to do. So what happens here? You just write numeral sign. Then you write 3. I told you 3 is written like that. And then you can write 2 like that. 3 by 2. That is 3 by 2. Because, you know, when writing proper fraction or improper fraction, I know 3 by 2 is an improper fraction. But when writing proper fraction like 1 over 2, you can see. When writing a proper fraction like 1 over 2, do not use two numeral sign in this case. In this case, you write just one numeral sign. And then you write 1 as a whole number. And then you do what? And then you lower the denominator. Denominator in this case 1 over 2 is 2. So this is what we said, 1 over 2. Whereby 1 is iko namba ya juu, lakini hii namba ya chini unailower. denominator unailoa. Lakini sasa ndio hii hapa swali yetu 3 by 2. So unaandika 3 by 2. Hii ni 3 by 2. Or unaweza andika 3, that's numeral sign 3, then divided by, I told you it's 0.56 lower d, okay? But this sign is in Braille, ya hiyo module IE 033. Lakini ukisoma kwa Unified English Braille utaona hawatumii 0.6, ni 0.5 lower d. Hata in fact ni 0.5 st, 0.5 st ama 0.5 the forward slash ndio inamaanisha division kwa the Unified English Braille. But for now don't use that. Even if you read the rules of Unified Braille, usiapply sahi, hapana, ijaanza kutumika hapa. So make sure you use this one. Even if you know the other signs of division that maybe umesoma kwa Unified English Braille, do not apply it, okay? Good. Now, so divide, so in 3, I told you whenever writing the operational or the operational sign, before writing them, you must give a space. So this one is division. We have given a space before writing them, but do not give a space after writing them. So andika hapa numeral sign and then unaandika 2 like that. So ini 3 divided by 2. So now someone will ask me, mbona hii tusijaloa kama venye tumeloa hii ya kwanza? Now listen, teachers, this one was a denominator, but this one is not a denominator. It's a whole number. It's 2 divided by 2, a whole number 2. So it's not a denominator. Sawa? So this one and this one are the same. Good. Now let's come to the third, which is number C, 1045. So we want to write this one in Braille. So 1045, we have 2 ways of writing it, and I'm going to explain. So you just put a numeral sign as usual, because I told you for you to denote numbers, you must use this important sign called a numeral sign. 1000, you just write 1, because it's like this, 1045. Sindio? 1045. 1, 0, I told you 0 ni J, and then unaandika 4, 4 nilikwambia ni D, and then unaandika 5, 5 ni E. So hiyo ni 10, 4, 5. There's 2 ways of representing thousands. Remember I told you, 10 can be written like this. Ukiweza weka comma ya mathematics. Remember, we looked at comma of mathematics and we said, comma ya mathematics ni .3. Listen, in Braille mathematics, ama in Braille paper question, unaweza ulizwa to state the dot that represent the mathematical comma. The mathematical comma ni .3, and it's the difference from the English comma yenye tulisema ni .2. So sometimes make sure that you know the difference, right? Make sure you know the difference. A comma in mathematics is not a comma in English. They are both commas, but they are represented by different Braille dots. I think it's good you know. Now, or you can write like this. Ukitaka kuweka comma, which is not a must, by the way. In Braille, mathematics, sio lazima uweke comma at 1000 like this, 1000 ama 10,000 uweke comma. Hapana, it's not a must. It's not a must. So here, but you can write like this. Unaweza andika numeral sign. Maybe if you want to use the comma, then you write 1, then you write comma, do not put a space. Then you write 0 is J, and then you write 4, as simple as that, and then you write 5. Sasa itakuwa ni 1, 0, 4, 5. And you are done. So that's how you're supposed to do. So we are over with that questions, question A, B, C, and we are done, and then you get your free marks. Now let us continue to the last question, of today's lesson. Now, the last question ndio hii hapa, nataka tuangalie ya mwisho kwa leo, and then we will continue from tomorrow because naona time imeenda sana. It's almost 1 hour, 48 minutes. Now, let us read this question. Identify 2 instances where letter signs are used in mathematical notation. Now, letter sign niliwaambia ni .5, .6. Hii ndio inaitwa letter sign. This is what is regarded as letter sign. Now they're asking us, it's very simple, very simple. Identify 2 instances. Actually, I'm going to give you more than 2, okay? And you can apply any. Where 2 instances where letter sign, now this sign, are used in a mathematical notation. Now let me write, or number 1, before I write examples. Let me write somewhere. Wacha nilete tu kitabu tuandike as I explain, So let us write here. We are told, let us read again. Let us read again the question itself. They're asking us to identify. Now we are supposed to identify two instances where letter signs are used in mathematical notation. Remember, we looked at letter sign in English, isn't it? And we said it is dot 56. And this, we looked at them under the Braille composition sign. And we said Braille composition signs, these are signs that they don't have an equivalent signs in normal English, okay? So these are just signs that help us to denote other things that they don't exist in normal English. So they help us in Braille. Now, in this case, we are told to identify two instances where letter signs are used in mathematical notation. Number one, and I'm going to give you some examples so that you understand. For example, remember tulisema letter sign ni .56. This is called letter sign. Ni wapi tunaitumia kwa hesabu na ni kwa nini? Sikiliza. Kwa mfano, unataka kuonesha, you want to show long letters in sentences. Long letters in sentences, maybe in mathematics. For example, you can say x is equal to 45 degrees. Now, so this is what we call long letters. Yani letter nyiko alone. That's what I'm saying. Long letters. Alone. Peke yake. Unaona letter ikiwa peke yake stand alone. You must use a letter sign, because if you don't put a letter sign to show that this one is a letter, it will mean a contraction. And I told you, X in this case, when we looked at simple upper word sign, we said X standalone means it. Sasa, ukikuja kwa mfano unataka kusema X is equal to 45, unasema tu hapa letter sign X, then unaandika is, ukiendelea. If you don't put this letter sign, because now we are not going to write this one, the whole of this. But remember, degrees are lower j. Okay, let me remind you, degrees are lower j. So utaandika numeral sign, okay? Then uandike 4, then uandike 5, okay? And then uandike lower j. Bila kuweka space, lower j like that. Are we together? So in 45 degrees, okay? So equal to, yo, achana naye. Sasa, listen, we are looking at places where to identify two instances where letter signs are used or must be used in mathematical notation. When showing, so number one, or the first answer is when showing or when writing long letters. When writing long letters. Sasa jibu ya kwanza yenye unafaa kuandika ni when writing long letters. Long letters ndio kama hii sasa. Yani letter long, you want to show that this one is a letter but not a contraction. If you don't put this letter sign, wacha nifiche. Itakuwa it. Okay? So, but when you introduce this letter sign, somebody reading will know, oh, this one is not a contraction. It's because it has got this letter sign. Now it means this one is a letter. You know, the work of a letter sign is to show that the letter is the letter, not a contraction. Are you together? Yani nakukataza, is your contraction, inamaanisha hiyo letter X. Okay? Good. Now let us come to that. Let us come to the next example. So hiyo tumejua. When writing long letters, you use what? Letter sign. So that you don't confuse with simple upper word signs or any other contraction. Good. Again, you can use letter signs when the letter begins a mathematical expression in ordinary print. Kwa mfano, wakati letter inaanza kwa neno ama letter is starting, you know, for example, let me think about something. Tunasema hivi, when the letter begins a mathematical expression, okay? Kwa mfano, wacha niandike hapa jibu, when a letter or when a letter begins, begin inaandikwaje? Iko na ji mbili ama nini? Begins a mathematical expression. For example, now let me explain this. For example, P is greater than 45%. 45 degrees. Okay? You know this one is an example. So unaona hii P imeanza, okay? I'm going to explain it. P, when you want to show that this P is alone, when beginning, you do what? You put letter sign. Because we said P stand alone like this. P stand alone like this denote people under simple upward sign. So for you to differentiate between P for letter P and P for contraction to mean people, you put a letter sign, and that is .56, and then you put P. So this means this one is letter P, but not a contraction of people. If you ignore and put letter P standalone at the beginning of a mathematical expression, that one will mean people in mathematics. Are you together? So that is it. Somebody will ask, what's the difference between the first one and the second one? Remember, here we lose the word loan. This loan can be anywhere. Can be at the beginning, can be at the end, can be somewhere. But here we say it when letters begins. Inaanza neno ikiwa peke yake. When a letter begins. Again, when writing Roman numbers, this one is very common even. Ukitaka kuandika Roman number, so here another reason why we use letter sign in mathematics, or instances where we use a letter sign, it is when writing Roman numbers in Braille. For example, ukitaka kuandika Roman 1 unaandika hivi kwa Braille. Letter sign Roman numbers ndio hii unaandikanga 1 2 3 1 2 3 like that, isn't it? So ukitaka kuandika kwa Braille unaandika hivi. Wacha tuandike tu hii I like that, okay? Roman 2 unaandika tu letter sign, then unaandika I mbili. Mona? I and I. Are you together? Then Roman 3 hivyo. Roman 4 like that. So, kwa mfano Roman 4 utaandika tu letter sign, and then uandike I, and then uandike V. Okay? I told you V is written as simple as that. Okay? So hiyo inamaanisha ni Roman 4, hiyo ni Roman 4, Roman 2, Roman 1. Unaona? Lazima uandike nini? Letter sign. So jibu hapa, when writing Roman numbers, you must use what we call letter sign. Kumbuka swali ilikuwa inatuuliza hivi. You know, let me remind you the question. Identify two instances where letter signs are used in the mathematical notation. That is what I'm trying to help you. Lastly, under that, where we are supposed to use letter sign is when writing letters A to J. Unaona tulisema letter A to J represent numbers. Hey. Sijui nitawaambiaje. Wacha niandike hapa. This one is very technical, yeah? But you are going to get some sense, eh? You are going to get some sense from this. For example, in algebra, 2a plus 2b. This is the last example. 2a plus 2b. 2a plus 2b. 2a plus 2b, yeah? Sasa hapa, when writing letter A up to J, okay, in mathematics, you must put new letter sign, because this A to J, they are also used as numbers. Now listen, 2a plus 2b. Wacha tuandike kwanza hapa alafu tueleze. So numeral sign, then 2, then hey, teachers. For example, if you make a big mistake of writing A direct, ukuja hapo useme uandike hivi, uandike A, and then you say eti ni 2a because A is not 1. This is very wrong, teachers, because this A is affected by this numeral sign. This one will not be 2a, it will be 21. Now, for you to denote A, you must put now this important, very, very important sign called a letter sign to show that this one is a letter. So, upper, instead of writing like that and bring confusion, write letter sign and then you put what? A. Sasa, mwenye anasoma atajua hii ni 2 letter sign A. 2 letter sign A. So, if you don't put it, it will be just be 21. Lakini ukiweka letter sign, so this means it's not 1, it's a letter sign. Hii letter sign inasaidia kumaanisha the letter that follows is just a letter. Ndio maana inaitwa letter sign. Plus, I told you when writing an operation sign, you must give a space. Okay? Plus inaandikwa hivyo. lower F, but in our module, but when you read the Unified English Braille, it is .5 lower F, hakuna .6 ukisoma kwa Unified English Braille. Then after writing it, do not give a space. Remember you looked under rule of writing the punctuation. No, not the punctuation, but the operation sign. Then two, hii kazi mwalimu sio rahisi. Okay? We are just trying, Usiogope sana, utasoma, utaelewa, okay? Sasa hii ni 2. Ukitaka kuandika B, usiandike B direct, atuandike hapa letter B like this, okay? Don't do it because itakuwa 22. Itakuwa 2B, itakuwa 2B. So I think now you can see some sense whereby letter sign is a very amazing amazing sign whereby it helps us to denote letters from A up to J. So unaandika 2 letter sign then B. So itakuwa ni 2 letter sign B ama ni 2B. And there is no a symbol that you can represent letter sign. Useme ati letter sign tunaweza braille aje. Letter sign, numeral sign, italic sign, those we call them the braille composition sign. They just help us to denote other things that they don't exist in the normal English. So that is it. So you can see now letter sign help us to differentiate or to help us not to confuse from other things, and that is how you're supposed to do. So you can see, if you are very keen and you have been following my lessons, you realize that this paper is somehow technical in a way, isn't it? Inakaa ngumu kidogo, lakini sio ngumu. So that's what I'm telling you. Make sure you follow this lesson from the beginning up to the end, and you are going to understand this thing. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Continue doing practice and everything will be okay. Have a good night.